Porsha Williams and Mr. Simon Guobadia ongoing divorce, and Porsha finally scores a win, guys. And we have been talking about this to no end because it's been a back and forth situation. And as you guys already know, Simon Guobadia frankly wants to move on in his life. With moving on, he obviously wants to have his property back. In the prenup, it is stated that Porsha gets to live there for XYZ amount of years. I believe it is two. But Simon wanted her out of the property because what Simon was saying is during his marriage, he did sign a prenuptial agreement, but it was based on the facts that Porsha would not work. And he said since she had resumed her working and opportunities that she had presented to her, he felt like he should not have to abide by the prenuptial agreement. And guys, you know the drill. Before we get deep into this video, I do need to make sure you guys are liking the video. Please make sure to share the video. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, make sure you turn on your bell notification.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
And I never knew that divorce can be so difficult. My thought was if you don't want to be married, if this person don't want to be married, even if the person just don't want to be with you and you still wanted to be with them, why wouldn't you just go your merry way? I promise I don't want to use anybody's stuff that don't want me to use it. I don't want to be in anybody's property that don't want me to be in it. I just don't understand that. So the issue here is Simon wants Porsha to get out of his home because he's like, look, she can go stay in her own home, which I totally agree. But there are some people out here that is just not right because if you don't want me, then you shouldn't want any of my stuff because my stuff is me. But I don't understand why Simon doesn't understand what he signed up for because it's really given that they kind of used each other. I'm just saying. People are saying that Simon wanted the fame that was attached to Porsha. And then people are saying, yeah, like Porsha wanted his money. So I don't know. But this is a mess, y'all. Let's get in deep and to find out what exactly happened at this court hearing. Now, in the latest ruling in the case, the court has granted Williams her request, and that is to quash Guobadia's subpoena and request for a videotape deposition of her employer, and that's True Entertainment, along with a motion for a protective order. Now, a judge has also denied Guobadia's emergency motions regarding discovery and awarded Williams attorney fees and expenses of litigation to be paid by Guobadia. And let me just go over that. Simon was basically wanting to fight the prenuptial agreement because what he said is he did sign a prenuptial agreement, but he signed the prenuptial agreement based on specific terms. Now, what the court is saying is we don't agree with what you're saying. You did sign a prenuptial agreement, and therefore we are going to uphold that prenuptial agreement. Simon also requested that Porsha's employer provide 3 years of her earnings. And the court is saying absolutely no. Now, the filing also pertains to their prenuptial agreement. Now, according to the documentation, Guobadia argues that Porsha's desire to return to reality television or employment in the future constitutes a non disclosure of material fact and a misrepresentation that renders the prenuptial agreement unenforceable. Now, addressing Guobadia's claims that Williams agreed to be a stay at home mom and wife during their marriage and forego her own career, the court found them invalid. So let's just talk about that for a little bit. What Simon is saying, yes, I agreed to let this lady stay in my house if we were to get a divorce. I agreed to these things because she agreed to not work. And because she agreed to not work, I agreed to help her financially. What he is saying is, wait a minute, she is working now. So I feel like or I should say, the prenuptial agreement that we have together is not enforceable. And guys, to sum this up short and sweet, the court did not find merit in Simon's argument, as the court states that Porsha has been a reality TV celebrity for years, which was well known to Simon at the time that they were negotiating the prenuptial agreement. And Simon married his wife with this knowledge. So the court is saying, okay, we understand what you're saying, but you knew this lady was a reality star before you married her. You knew that she was a reality star for years. So the fact that you had this information, perhaps you should have put it in the prenuptial agreement that if she were to return to work, then maybe this would make this unenforceable. They're like, we don't want to hear it because one thing we know for sure, sir, is that you knew that this lady was a reality star. Now, we know after starring on Bravo's The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and this is from seasons 5 through 13, Williams left in September of 2021. Now, this was 4 months after she announced her engagement, and she announced that in May of 2021. Now, earlier that year, it was announced that she would be returning to the upcoming Sweet 16 season. And guys, listen, people enter into prenuptial agreements so they do not have to go to court. So what Porsha asks for is that it be enforced. So this is another part that does not sit right with the court. It states in the couple's prenuptial agreement, what it says in Porsha and Simon's prenuptial agreement is that its central purpose, guys. So they state in their prenuptial agreement that the central purpose, so the sole purpose, is to avoid contested and expensive litigation, including the costly and potentially intrusive discovery process if an event of dissolution occurs. So, listen, in his prenuptial agreement that he has with Porsha, it specifically states that the reason for the prenuptial agreement is to avoid the very thing that they are going through at this time. That is another problem. Now, the court ruling also finds that the court finds that the prenuptial agreement by both parties, which is the central cause and the issue, that it was negotiated by both parties with very competent lawyers over a year, and it included the exchange of financial disclosures such that the issues of fraud, mistake, misrepresentation, and duress are clearly addressed in multiple provisions of the prenup. So, guys, to sum that up, the court did not buy what Simon was selling because they looked at the prenuptial agreement. They looked at how many times the prenuptial agreement was revised. They looked at all of those different things. And they also said the lawyers that prepared it were very competent and very smart attorneys. They also said the prenuptial agreement revision process went on for almost a year. So, therefore, you had time to ask whatever questions. You could have revised it again, and they not selling what Simon Guobadia is buying. Okay, so this is a major, a major victory for Porsha Williams, right? Which is bringing her to her final step of her divorce proceedings. Now, once the couple's prenuptial agreement is officially upheld by the court, Williams will be awarded her legal expenses. Obviously, she filed for divorce, and I guess she didn't have the money to pay it because, you know, I don't know why you just won't pay a girl and go on about your business, but she needs him to pay for her expenses. And it seems like once this is upheld and finally water under the bridge, she will walk away a single woman. And it looks like with her attorney's fees paid. Now, it should be noted, and this is specific language in the prenup, and this is also language that kind of messed Simon up. It states because the documents specify that serving, conducting, or attempting to serve or conduct any discovery whatsoever either upon or toward the other party or upon toward any third party, including written discovery, taking depositions, or issuing subpoenas, violates the prenuptial agreement. This is the problem because this is written in their prenup stating that they won't do this. So, y'all, it's a win for peach juice. And guys, as always, don't forget to like the video, share the video. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit that bell notification so you do not miss out on a video.